pedalboard for the room and Stoner. I have some pedals here that can mimic some of the sounds of the bands I listen to the most. I think it's pretty influenced by bands as Sleep, High on Fire, Monolord, Windhand, and Acid, for example. Here you have the gain range. These are the pedals I use to create gain. So I have C standard tuned SG, through a Fender Champion 100. The pedal order goes from my guitar into this Mooer baby tuner, which is just a cheap tuner. Really bright LEDs, tunes your guitar, and you're gonna see it in a live situation with no problem. Then it comes to the Arrows by Eqd Devices, the best boost pedal I have ever used. Then the MXR modified Overdrive, which sounds not like your typical tube screamer type of thing. It has a mid switch. You can add mids or leave it flat. It has a lot of gain on tap. Then I come to the Ibanez FZ-7, which is a really interesting pedal. I think it's modded around the Super Fuzz. Then I come to the Hoof, which is modded around the Russian Big Muff with an extra mid knob here. And then into the Small Clone by Electro-Harmonix. Then into the Hardwire TR7, which is set to the vibe modulation sound. This thing is very useful for live situations, as I need to step on the delay and I don't break my pedal. And that's it. And that's to start with the FZ-7. It's an Ibanez Fuzz, not very famous, very cheap. You can get these anytime for less than 50 bucks. This pedal seems to be molded after the Ibanez Super Fuzz clone, which is a vintage pedal nowadays and costs quite a lot. It sounds really close to the mid-boosted setting on that fuzz. I have tried it already and it sounds pretty close with the damage on 0. So what it seems to me is that Ibanez tried to release the Mode 1 fuzz of that pedal, but modded, so you have 3 mods to pick up from. This thing has that same gnarly mid-range of that pedal and is not likely to get stolen because it's a really cheap pedal and nobody really knows what it is. So that's how it sounds like with the damage on 0. So as you can tell, it's a pretty powerful pedal. It sounds much more expensive than it actually is. And you can get these for close to nothing. This is the Hoof Fuzz, everybody knows it. A Russian Big Muff clone with a mid knob. That's kind of what the shift knob does here. So I like to use these two as my main distortions, but I also like to use this guy as my main distortion and use this to generate an octave. When you put the damage switch on 10 and you turn a boost pedal in front of it, octaves come up when you play on the neck pickup, and that's how it sounds like. So that's how it sounds on its own when you turn the octave switch thing with the booster pedal. When you use that before the hoof, The Hoof brings back the bass frequencies and the mid-range frequencies that the octaves take out on this thing. And on damage set to 0, you can use it as your typical Windhand type of sound. So it definitely has that gnarly mid-range from the Ibanez Super Fuzz in it, and I think it sounds really good, and for the price I don't really think it can go wrong. So I use, for the clean guitar, mostly this pedal combined with one of these modulation options. This is a digital pedal, it's the TR7 by Hardwire. Here I'm using it for vibe simulation, so it sounds like this. This is low, vibey sound. The delay is nice to have for clean sounds or solos. I like to use the chorus pedal for solos, and it sounds very close to flanger type of circuits that Uncle Acid uses on some solos of theirs. I think it sounds really good for solos like that. It really gives you that flangy type of thing that goes on some of their solos, mostly like early Bloodlust stuff. I could never get to find out what pedals did they use to create those sounds, but I thought it was a flanger, and I decided to try it out with the chorus pedal I have here home, and it achieves that sound. So that's it. This is how I've built my Doom pedal board. I think you guys could get the picture here. Subscribe please, and see you next time.